Are you someone who doesn't see every movie that comes out? Do you hate your friends and strangers asking if you have seen a movie and then freak out when you haven't? Well, join the You Hate to See It Podbean, and you can join Jeff as he talks with Adam, but not me, about movies that Adam forced him to watch, but not me. So you don't have to. Who knows? Maybe you'll finally go see a movie.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Drunken Jurors. I'm Jeff.
I'm Adam.
I'm Nick.
I'm drinking a Diet Coke because I just got done with the gym and chugging a beer sounds awful.
I just had a Diet Pepsi.
I have whatever's left in this Truly that I just picked up behind me on the desk.
Please don't drink that. That's nauseating.
Please don't. Yeah, that's...
I'm
No.
gonna throw up.
No. He might throw up. Yeah, he might throw
He's
up.
gonna wake up in the Skyrim intro.
It's really sour.
Yeah.
It's fermented.
Yeah.
Again.
That's what alcohol does. Oh, he's going back in. It just instantly fucks him up.
I'm telling you, he's gonna wake up in the Skyrim intro.
I'm gonna be real honest. That last laugh did something funny to my head.
I'm pretty sure you just drank the equivalent of vinegar.
Yes, I can taste it, and you're right.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's what happens to alcohol when you let it sit out in the open, Adam.
I'm still gonna finish this. I'm not a bitch. I'm not gonna waste alcohol.
I don't think there's alcohol in there. It's like dead yeast.
Does this truly have yeast? Does this truly have yeast?
I want to die.
All right. So this week's episode is covering our Dwyer, who was a Pennsylvania state treasurer who committed suicide on live television. We will be playing that audio and video for the people to watch.
So big ass warning.
Yeah, big disclaimer. It is graphic. I watched it 2 minutes before we started recording, and I kind of wanted to fucking vomit while I was eating.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not looking forward to watching this. And I recommended this stuff.
Real crispy quality. So
real crispy. Okay, great. Real crispy. So does this put Pennsylvania at like third most corrupt state?
Is it really like what he like? He didn't. We don't even know if he actually did it.
I feel like if he killed himself, it's not exactly.
I feel
innocence.
We'll get into it, but
like,
like
if you
I watched on the
over it, you
on the documentary.
Either did it 100%, you did it, or you 100% didn't do it, and we're sick and tired of the bullshit that you had to go
So I watched a documentary on this, and it sounds like it was the second thing that Adam said. It was just like ruining his fucking home life.
Yeah.
All right.
But yet again, kind of get into it. I also watched that documentary a hot minute ago. So our Dwyer was born on November 21st, 1939 in St. Charles, Missouri. He graduated in 1961 with an AB in political science and accounting from Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Bud then went on to earn his master's degree in education in 1963, and then he went on to teach social studies and coach football at Cambridge Springs High School. From the sounds of it, he was like an amazing teacher. From what I heard, like on the documentary and what they talked about, like he was a very like active, like, and we'll get into it here in a second with his political career. He's a very active person when it comes to like his career. So he then went into politics as a Republican. He was elected to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives from the 6th district in 1964 and was reelected in 1966 and 68. Like I said, he was like campaigning like every weekend. Like he would get done like teaching, and then like him and his wife would like basically like drive across the state doing campaigning, like going in parades, like going.
To be fair, you kind of had to do that back then because it's not like he could send like an email letter or anything.
Yeah, but like he was going like door to door, like knocking.
Mhm.
And, like he was like out there, not just like. And he was trying to like make a difference too. He was doing charity work and shit, and he was just a very active. Like that's why everyone liked him so much. He was just personable. He had like great charisma. Like he was a very charismatic person.
My favorite thing that politicians do nowadays is get my phone number and text me. And I like to call those numbers. And sometimes I get a human being and sometimes I don't. But I always be angry.
How do you have free time to do that?
I do this while I'm driving at work.
The fuck? Wild.
Oh. So then in 1970, while he was still a sitting state representative, Dwyer ran for a seat in the Pennsylvania State Senate, and he ended up winning.
Good for him.
Yeah, amazing. Otherwise, this story probably wouldn't fucking happen.
I'm gonna, just for that, I'm gonna give him a little bit of sour power.
I don't call
No.
it that.
Just get a fucking glass of like apple cider vinegar at this point and be sipping on it all day.
It's like my tongue is so dry now.
I can imagine.
Like one of the ingredients in here is malic acid. So like
So
solving your tongue.
it is gluten-free though, so I'm gonna be fine.
after being elected in additional terms in 74 and 78, he then decided for a statewide office, and that's when he ran for state treasurer, and he ended up getting that, and then he also won it in 1984. So interesting thing about when he becomes the treasurer, so the governor ends up fucking hating him because the governor was, what the fuck was the governor's name?
That's 45 seconds have been wild.
You have been. I just heard something.
Dick Thornburg.
Ah,
That's a Futurama character.
So Thornburg hated him because Bud found out, since he's state treasurer, Thornburg went on a trip to Germany for, I don't think it was work related, but or no, it was, but then he took his wife and his like kids and he tried to expense it to the state for his whole family to go, and Bud was like, no. And rejected it.
I could see like the hotel, but not like all the flights. Like the one ticket,
And then after that got released to the press, because of course he fucking would, someone brings up to Bud that Thornburg has his kids' expenses for schooling paid for by the state to send them to Massachusetts, and he was having the state police take them there and pick them up every day.
Oh,
Great use of fucking resources.
that's what the police are there for, right?
Yeah, to drive around the fucking governor's kids.
Yeah.
I mean, well, to be fair, nowadays that's just protective services for the governor's family.
Yeah, but you're paying for the school through the state.
Oh, he's paying the school.
Well, yeah, I think it was a private school.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, that one don't work out.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna get into the weird area of where all the conspiracy comes from, that kind of where leads to him end up committing suicide on TV. So there was a man named,
My guess is his name was Jimbo.
no, it's not that easy. I wish
It was Throckmorton.
Huh.
It's Cock Pinewood.
It's Torquato, I believe it's not Torquato, Torquato.
Ah, yes.
That thing.
The Beto tornado.
The Red Tornado.
The Red Rocket.
This is the DC villain, the Red Tornado.
That wasn't a villain. That was a hero.
He was a villain in Supergirl.
So Torquato's father was apparently a leader of a mafia. So Torquato, when he was in California, started the Computer Technology Association, or
This was the 80s. That wasn't a thing.
It was apparently.
I have another name for him. It's Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm here for it.
Computer technology.
Was he also born
Associates.
in Nigeria?
No, he's a native of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I am not a birther.
So yeah, so John, his first name's John. Torquedo Jr. He had a California-based firm called Computer Technology Associations. Torquedo was known for bribing people like immediately when he met them to try to rope them into doing whatever he wanted them to do. He was pretty well fucking known for it. So his computer company went in for a bid because there was it was found in 1980s that there was that like U.S. Pennsylvania teachers had been paying like millions of dollars over on taxes, so like they needed a company to find all those, like run those names through like a database, find all those people, and then so they could give those people money back. So there was bids for finding a company for that. Computer Technology Associates is the one that ended up winning, but this is where it kind of gets all wonky.
The company just actually has like a really big fucking abacus.
In 1984, Dennis Schatzman, I don't fucking know. He was deputy comptroller of Pittsburgh Public Schools. He noticed that there had been discrepancies in the CTA contract, and he wrote the school officials regarding these. And then he also notified some officials at an accounting firm who confirmed that the no bid CTA contract was overpriced by millions of dollars. So they basically took a bid for overpaying a shit ton for a company that I don't think was like well known or really understood what the fuck they did.
Again, I would like to resubmit my theory that it was just a really large abacus in a basement.
No. So then in June of 1984, the Pennsylvania Auditor General informed the FBI of the alleged bribery that occurred during awarding the contract. And then at the end of July 1984, a CTA employee released a sworn statement claiming that Dwyer awarded the contract to CTA because he was promised a $300,000 kickback by the company, which is where the conspiracy starts of he was like money laundering and shit like that.
That's a lot of money then.
Yeah. How much was that back then compared to now? 300,000 in 1984.
Probably close to $1 million.
That is about $843,973 and a nickel today.
That nickel broke
That
it.
nickel's important.
The nickel's probably what pushed shit over the top.
Yeah.
Also, I wrote down what the exactly they were trying to find or fix. What they were supposed to do was they were supposed to go back because the Supreme Court stated that you cannot charge FICA taxes on sick days. So that's apparently what they were doing to the teachers, and teachers were overpaying on taxes because of that. So that company was supposed to go through and find all of those days and help get money back for those people. And Torquedo apparently pressured someone to offer Bud $300,000 to his campaign fund to get the contract through the state. But the guy said that when he went to Bud for it, Bud said that it sounded pretty good to him. And then the FBI goes in to the CTA's computers and finds a list of people to bribe, and they go straight for Bud because Bud's name is on that list. But that doesn't mean that Bud ever took anything. It just he was on a list of people who they wanted to bribe. It's a little sketch. It's kind of a little bit all over the place.
Is this going to turn into a thing where it's the FBI doing really shady shit that the FBI does?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I never really looked into it that far. I didn't really hear much about the FBI doing anything. Because from here, they just kind of go to trial.
Because this is right around the time I feel like Hoover was still in charge of the FBI. Hold on.
Oh yeah. I don't think Hoover's out until like the 90s.
Hoover? No, that's the president. Who's the FBI Hoover?
J.
John-
Edgar.
Oh,
I know that because Leonardo DiCaprio.
God damn it!
It was in Hamilton, Nick. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid me.
Just watch Hamilton already.
No, he was in office from 1972.
Until 1972.
Fuck, from 1924 to 1972.
Jesus.
God.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
a little ridiculous.
we gotta do one on J. Edgar Hoover one day. That man is a bastard.
I will put that in because that does interest me. I would like to.
His presidency spanned from Calvin Coolidge to Richard Nixon.
It's a little bit of a lengthy
That's
time.
Just think about, for anyone who understands presidents.
I remember
That's the time
he
frame
was
we're working with.
he was super old school. Like basically women weren't really allowed in the FBI.
He was also a cross-dresser.
Yeah, it's so wild. So much on him. Yeah, that'll be a
yeah.
future episode. He is crazy.
Yeah, fucking probably had something to do with the death of MLK. Yeah, very, very not a good man.
So of course there's an investigation into Dwyer awarding the CTA contract. Upon learning of this investigation, Dwyer he ended the contract with the CTA on July 11th of 1984. Dwyer repeatedly attempted to stop, divert, and forestall the investigation, stating that the U.S. money had neither the authority nor evidence to pursue prosecution. But then they end up going to court for it, and he was charged with agreeing to receive the kickback in return for awarding the CTA contract. After that, he stated that he would take a polygraph exam, but only on the condition that if he passed, he would not be indicted or indicted.
Indicted.
Why is there a C in there?
I don't fucking know. It's probably fucking old English or some shit like that.
The state
I got
obviously
that.
rejected Dwyer's offer. And then on October 22nd, 1984, a grand jury indicted Torquato. At Smith's trial in 1985, William T. Smith, who was a friend of Dwyer's, testified that he did not bribe Dwyer. He was the one who said he went up to Dwyer and offered him the $300,000. He accepted it. Yeah, he testified that he did not bribe Dwyer, and instead that Torquato offered Dwyer a campaign contribution in return for the CTA contract, but he rejected that offer. Then Torquato testified that Smith offered Dwyer a $300,000 bribe in return for the CTA contract, and that Dwyer, acting as a defense witness for Smith at his trial, denied that he offered any contribution at all. 3 different fucking stories there. Also, in the documentary, they have Smith on there, and it's weird. You get some weird vibes from that man he's friends with Dwyer, and he feels bad, almost like he did offer it to him. I don't know. It's wild. You have to watch the fucking documentary. It's on Prime. This whole case really fucking confused me. There's not as much. I think there probably is more to go into with this, but I don't really know too much about the conspiracies around it and stuff.
I mean, this is. I want to throw around. He was a scapegoat when there's no evidence for that, but
yeah, who would he have been the scapegoat for?
Yeah. Was he just the FBI just overreaching?
For what though? What did the FBI get out of that?
Hold on. Racketeering. When did racketeering start happening? RICO charges. When was RICO?
So another thing that confused people with the CTA is they were extremely they had a very small staff and little equipment for this whole job. So
all right, now
Torquato basically fronted the company to bribe people for stuff.
Here's my fun. Maybe this is it. This is absolutely baseless. Don't go off of any of this. He killed himself in 87.
Mm-hmm.
That's 17 years though. The newest form, or the United States RICO Act, which is what was used for racketeering and all that fun shit with the mob, that was 17 years old. Maybe they wanted to, I don't know, fucking keep it going. Who knows?
Well,
I
because
got absolutely
Torquado's
no
dad
basis in
apparently
this.
was linked to the mafia. So I mean,
He was linked to the mom, yeah. Fucking who knows?
yeah, I don't. It's weird. Dwyer always denied any wrongdoing, stating that after the CTI contract was signed, Smith merely made a generic offer to help him with his campaign. So it's like he keeps like kind of like digging a bigger hole.
Yeah.
Then Dwyer's lawyer spoke to the prosecutor, asking if they would drop all charges if Dwyer resigned as state treasurer, and the prosecutor declined that offer. He instead offered to let Dwyer plead guilty to a single charge of bribe receiving, which would have meant up to a maximum of 5 years imprisonment, which he probably really wouldn't have fucking done much time for.
First offense, yeah, I probably would have done like fucking 18 months.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And as long as he resigned from his office as treasurer of Pennsylvania and cooperated fully with the government's investigation. But Dwyer, of course, refused that and went to trial. At his trial, Dwyer did not take the stand, but also his lawyer presented no defense witnesses, since he thought that the government did not sufficiently prove its case. But I still think that's a shitty way to go into a trial.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a choice.
Sounds pretty unfucking prepared. Kind of like us for this fucking episode.
Yeah.
That's our standard, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately.
Not overly entertaining, and we can't be overly entertaining if we are.
We will be getting back to doing good, well researched fucking episodes soon.
We'll see.
It's just we have put ourselves on such a fucking wild schedule with interviews. But I have more time. I could start researching again. As long as we don't go guesting 40 times a week. So on December 18th, 1986, Dwyer was found guilty on 11 counts of conspiracy, mail fraud, perjury, and interstate transportation in aid of racketeering.
Yeah.
And he faced
the FBI get involved? Hold on. Why did the FBI get involved?
Because he's a federal
politician
employee.
He's not a federal employee. This is a state thing.
Well, he was on the Senate.
He was a state senator.
Well, because money across state lines. Is a California base.
Mail fraud? I guess maybe. FBI gets involved for less.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sure they found a way to do it. Just
because
it's not hard to figure out how the FBI can be involved in shit. They can do it.
Interstate Commerce Act, fucking wild.
He faced a sentence up to 55 years imprisonment and a $300,000 fine. So he would have just paid the kickback back if he had it. His sentencing was scheduled for January 23rd, 1987, and be performed by the U.S. District Court Judge Malcolm Muir. M-U-I-R. I don't fucking know. Moore. One mail fraud charge against Dwyer was dismissed by the judge. And then a juror found it emotionally difficult to convict Dwyer since he was a man of very high integrity and that they just made a mistake.
Cool. So that's a really bad jury selection.
Yeah. So then obviously after that, Pennsylvania state law stated that Dwyer could not officially be removed from office until his sentencing in January. Given this, Dwyer stated that until his legal appeal was resolved, he would stay on as treasurer, but would stay on under a leave of absence without pay and would not resign before having the opportunity to appeal his conviction. But they did put like an interim treasurer in during that time. Interim, whatever.
Interim. I don't know how it's said.
Interim.
How I say
It's
it.
pronounced interim.
Nick, I want you to take your big toe and put it up your butthole.
I'm not that flexible.
I never said the big toe had to be attached.
So in a meeting in his home on January 15th, 1987, Dwyer discussed the idea of a press conference with his press secretary, James Horshock, and Deputy Treasurer Don Johnson. At the meeting, both Johnson and Horshock cautioned Dwyer not to use the conference to attack the governor or other individuals involved with his criminal conviction. and they suggested that he should hold the conference at a location other than his office. Dwyer rejected their suggestions, but nevertheless assured both men that he would not attack anybody involved with his conviction. He also stated that he would not announce his resignation at the conference, but rather thank his staff and friends. Both men left this little meeting with him, assuming that Dwyer would just resign at the conference anyways. Next day, Dwyer visits his lawyer, who then told Dwyer to express repentance for his crimes. Dwyer responded by agreeing to change his version of events, which was to be presented to the judge at Dwyer's pre-sentencing conference scheduled for January 22nd. Then later on, Dwyer sees his lawyer again, gives him an updated version of events, and stated that he would announce his resignation at the press conference, but did not want his lawyer to attend the conference.
Interesting.
He got a hold of Senator Specter by telephone on the 21st of January, which was 2 days before his sentencing. Then one of the aides of Specter stated that the two of them talked for 8 to 10 minutes at that time, followed up on his letter to the senator, which was following up on a letter to the senator asking for help. He personally wrote to President Ronald Reagan asking for a presidential pardon. Nick's thinking.
Okay.
That it? That's all you have on that?
So no.
That man
So-
deserves some sour power.
For
Oh no.
for the record, that's gross. Asking for a presidential pardon is not an admission of guilt, nor is it illegal to do. In fact, I can ask for a presidential pardon for literally anything. So,
Can you ask for a presidential pardon for sinning?
no, that's no, we're not. No, I'm not. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you. I refuse to get on your bullshit.
So the senator responded to the request to President Reagan and told Dwyer that it was not realistic because the judicial process, including the appeals, had not yet wrapped up.
To be fair, you can issue a pardon for any crimes that you may or may not have committed,
Yeah.
because that's what Ford did in the 70s, mid 70s, late 70s. He fucking pardons all draft dodgers. Like, just fucking went, that's done.
So on that same day, Dwyer talks to his press secretary and deputy press secretary to set up a news conference for the next day without telling them what he was going to discuss. They agreed to the press conference for 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the next day. They called dozens of reporters asking them to attend and told them he did not know its subject. Little did they know that they were about to emotionally scar a huge amount of fucking people.
Yeah. This is before the 5-second little gap time where people could censor.
Yeah.
Don't you love it? It was even further when people could just record and fix it. That's already been happening.
So
Long
that
time.
next morning, Dwyer went to his press conference. He appeared nervous and agitated. He again professed his innocence and began reading a 21-page prepared text letter described as a rambling about the criminal justice system.
All right. No, what? I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna table that. I'm gonna let you go through your story, and then I have a fucking.
No,
I'm
go
ready
ahead.
for it.
Go ahead and state whatever you want.
My fun conspiracy.
Oh, sure. What is it?
All right. So more or less, this was connected to the mob.
Mm-hmm.
What if that he was going to schedule this press conference? Like, this is just a normal press conference he scheduled. He was just going to do all he was going to do. And then, like, the night before, he got visited by, fucking a couple of cannoli men from the fucking Pittsburgh mob or whatever.
I don't know if you can call them cannoli men.
I was quoting Godfather.
I mean, he does live rather close to the Massachusetts border, so I mean, they could also be from Boston.
Could be from Boston, could be Atlantic City. Who the fuck knows? But some mob guys visit him in the middle of the night. Tell him, look, you're gonna do this. You're gonna read this note. and you're going to kill yourself, or we're going to kill your family.
That does seem like a very mob thing to do.
That's a very mob thing. Now, they might have said, now you're going to read the statement, and then by the end of the day, you're killing yourself. And Dwyer thinks maybe this will draw enough attention to connect them to the mob, and this is my final cry for help. Save my family, save my reputation, and he kills himself on live TV.
Maybe. In this prepared text, it did single out former Governor Dick Thornburg.
Doing exactly what he said he wouldn't do.
Yeah. The acting U.S.
Maybe
attorney.
Dick Thornburg got Throckmorton to threaten him.
Also, active U.S. Attorney James West, some agents in the FBI, U.S. District Court Judge Malcolm Murr, whatever the fuck his name is, and others for tarnishing the justice system and ruining him. He states that Attorney West purposely held Dwyer's trial not in Harrisburg but in Williamsport due to it being located in Lycoming County, one of the most uneducated counties in Pennsylvania.
That's screwed.
He then also spoke out against the death penalty and expressed his regret for voting in favor of it while he was in the Pennsylvania Assembly. The speech lasted nearly 30 minutes, and approximately halfway through it, with no apparent end in sight, some of the gathered press began to pack up and leave. Dwyer spotted this and interrupted himself to say, "Those of you who are putting your cameras away, I think you might want to stay because we're not finished yet." So upon reaching the final page of the statement, which was not distributed to the press or his press secretary in advance, Dwyer paused and said, "And I'm on the last page now, and I don't have enough to pass out. But Horshock, I'll leave this here, and you can make copies for people. There's a few extra copies here right now." Then Dwyer continued, "I thank the good Lord for giving me 47 years of exciting challenges, stimulating experiences, and many happy occasions, and most of all, the finest wife and children any man could ever desire. Now my life has changed for no apparent reason. People who call and write are exasperated and feel helpless. They know I'm innocent and they want to help, but in this nation, the world's greatest democracy, there's nothing they can do to prevent me from being punished for a crime they know I did not commit. Some who have called have said that I am a modern day Job," whatever the fuck that means.
Job. It's a biblical reference.
Yeah. Forgot the Bible exists.
Even I got that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do not know exactly the story of Job, but I
understood that reference.
Judge Murr is also noted for his medieval sentences. "I face a maximum sentence of 55 years in prison and a $300,000 fine for being innocent." Judge Murr has already told the press that he felt invigorated when we were found guilty, and that he plans to imprison me as a deterrent to other public officials. But it wouldn't be a deterrent because every public official who knows me knows that I am innocent. It wouldn't be legitimate punishment because I've done nothing wrong. Since I'm a victim of political persecution, my prison would simply be an American gulag. I ask those who believe in me to continue to extend friendship and prayer to my family, to work untiringly for the creation of a justice system here in the United States, and to press on with the efforts to vindicate me, so that my family and their future families are not tainted by this injustice that has been perpetrated onto me." He then breaks from his speech. He calls out 3 of his staff members, giving each a sealed envelope with the insignia of the Treasury Department. First envelope given, he gives out the envelopes to 3 staff. First envelope given to Bob Holst contained a letter addressing to then Pennsylvania Governor Bob Casey, who had taken office just 2 days earlier. Second, given to Deputy Press Gregory Penny, contained an organ donor card and other related materials. The last, given to Deputy Treasurer Don Johnson, contained materials intended for Dwyer's family, including 3 letters, 1 to his wife and 1 to each of his children, and suggested funeral arrangements. So then, after he had finished speaking and handing out the notes to his staffers, he then produced a manila envelope with a Model 19 .357 Magnum revolver in it. When the crowd in the room saw that Dwyer had pulled what he had pulled out of the envelope, mood immediately changes.
Yeah.
Well, because he pulls out a gun, they start fearing for their lives because
Yeah.
fuck it, who knows what's gonna happen. And we're just gonna watch this. Let me know if you can hear it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm not. I don't. Oh my God! This happened so fast. Oh.
Please leave the room if this will. Don't. This will hurt someone. Don't do that.
Settle down. Don't panic, please. Don't panic.
Ah, shit.
So okay, I'd like to point out.
I like
Really just go.
My
Don't
favorite-
panic.
So that laugh was pure what the fuck.
Oh yeah, no,
that
is
laugh was
straight,
for the
like,
that
guy
wasn't-
going, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. So the two guys who were like, calm down, and oh shit. Like
Just the holy shit.
It's graphic. The amount of blood that pours out of his face.
So
Jeff, can you send me that link? I like
Yes, I can.
Adam, can you give me rights to share so I can provide the proper comparisons for
Yeah,
what
everyone
the
can
fuck
share.
just happened? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't understand bullets, 357's a fucking big ass bullet.
Yeah.
Here you go. There you go. So on the far left is the 357 Magnum. This little fucker is a 9mm. And for Adam's comparison, and for anyone watching, this is a 9mm.
what did I shoot out of the revolver?
That was
30
350.
yeah, he shot
Was that
357.
357?
Pretty sure.
Was the revolver 357 or was it? Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, big bullet.
Big
For
bullet,
those
lot
that
of
don't-
powder.
For those that
Lot
didn't
of
see it, you can hear it. He like him ruffling around in the envelope. He pulls it out. He's telling press to get back when they realize that he has a gun. They're like, don't do it, and he's like, no, everyone stay back. I don't want anyone to get
He
hurt.
was trying to get
Yeah.
people who like he was like, this is going to be graphic. If anyone doesn't want to see this, leave the room. Like, which is a wild like thought to be having right before you kill yourself.
Fuck. 357s are used to fucking hunt boar.
Yeah,
So that's fuck.
it was brutal. It was very
Yeah.
gruesome for even
Yeah.
being like 144p.
Yeah, no, I'm amazed at how just quickly it happens.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were when you were describing like he's handing out envelopes, I thought he was like, here you go, thank you, here you go. Like it was taking some time.
No, that
he's
was
like,
right after.
Fucking take your shit and then boom.
No, he gets the envelope after he hands it out. So like they
Yeah.
basically just cut to the part where he gets out his envelope.
Okay.
So no, it was probably much longer than that because like the speech was half an hour. So it probably took a while to get to that point. But yeah, that was only like a 40-second clip.
Mhm.
It
Fuck.
fucking crazy. Wasn't there? I don't know any other politicians that have like killed themselves on live TV. I don't think there are any.
I doubt there have been.
Well, especially now with the like you said that 5-second buffer.
It's probably longer than that actually.
Yeah.
It's 5, 10
between,
seconds?
It's between 5 and 8 normally.
5 and 8. Okay. Well, I know
Because
that
you don't want to be so far ahead because there's usually the producer
Mhm.
is sitting there listening and watching live. So like you
Mhm.
like eventually it's like you can't do it.
Well, I know like the fucking Super Bowl where fucking Justin Timberlake fucking showed the Jackson's tit. That was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, Lord.
sadly after that, that's really about all I got. I mean, he
Hey,
doesn't.
That
Nothing really
is-
happens. To him.
He's remarkably put together for that.
Yeah.
Well, he clearly made up his mind. Like there was
Yeah. Woo.
that man deserves some sour power for that.
I don't
Jesus.
like sour power. I'm not a
Honestly,
fan of-
the more I took in, the less it tasted bad.
That's not. I don't like it. Oh, that was uncomfy. I'm just not happy right now.
Yeah, I might dream about that later.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like imagine getting home from like school and like fucking getting ready to watch fucking Looney Tunes and like
Well, this
we
was in the
interrupt-
morning. His
Okay.
press conference was at like 10:30 a.m.
Imagine staying home from school to watch Looney Tunes and seeing that.
Well, if you're already watching Looney Tunes, you're probably not watching that.
Yeah, I don't think they're just
They
gonna
were
cut.
like three stations.
Okay.
So after all this, obviously, like they're like, oh, we need to throw this out. Like we need to clear his name. Basically, at the end of the day, all those were denied, and his name was never cleared.
I saw that his family still got the pension and everything.
Yeah, that was the nice thing is his family still got his pension and all that good stuff. It's a sad story when you get down, like
honestly, the idea that like
I want to know
he
where the
got-
fuck their proof is on everything. Where the fuck was their
Oh.
proof? It was gross.
I kind of like the idea of mob being behind it, like them telling them, "Hey, look, fucking you, this is your last day.
Yeah.
Figure this shit out."
Yeah. Oh, I mean that's it. You guys got anything else?
Nightmares?
Well, obviously, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
All right.
I'm good. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for listening and or watching. If you go down to the description, you can find our link tree to our links of our social media and anywhere you can find the podcast. So go ahead, click on those.
And our Patreon, if you
And
want
our
to.
Patreon now. Yeah, we switched to Patreon.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
Just so anyone knows, for all of our not subscribers that we have on Patreon, this won't go up today. This video will be going up in a couple weeks. But
Yeah,
it's
we're in
going
the
up.
process of moving everything over.
We're catching up,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it'll be there.
We can include the Twitter link in the fucking bio or whatever. You wanna watch it. Is that a thing you can do, Jeff?
I
Yeah.
could. I don't know if I want to.
That's fair.
If you want to see the video,
Just
become a
Google it.
patron.
Well, also just Google it.
No, just become a patron.
Also true. Google our Patreon.
Mhm.
Mostly Patreon.
Huh.
Jeff, you're a really bad salesperson.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I'm still fucked up from what I watched twice now.
Yeah.
See, like I want to watch it again. And it's more of just to process everything.
It all
again,
happens very fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out any laugh that you heard was from the guy going.
It's not because
"Holy
it was
shit!"
funny. Yeah, nothing. No laugh is because
Also
it was
trying to
funny.
process the fact that we just watched a man get his fucking brains blown out.
It's very different to see like
It was graphic and also not that graphic. I think the graphic part of it was because it was real, but they did, besides blood coming out of his face.
they
it's
did a
not like-
great job with the special effects.
Well, no, like I'm just saying, like you didn't see like brains going everywhere. and
You
stuff,
did.
like,
If you looked at the top, you could. Oh yeah, you didn't see like brains fly out when he shot
yeah,
himself.
like you didn't. It's mostly just blood pouring out of his face.
Yeah.
like that's really.
But they zoom in
I-
on it, which is the thing that makes
Yeah.
it gross.
So like if you compare that video to like JFK's from a fucking distance.
Yeah.
You don't like see the fucking everything. Whereas this, you like
Yeah. The cameraman's like not even 10 feet from him.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, also kudos on that cameraman for doing his job right.
Yeah. He
Like that's
did.
something that, like, as a cameraman doing like news and stuff, like you need to capture that kind of stuff, whether it gets used or not. But you're there to have record of things. So go on that cameraman and also I'm sure he zoomed in too,
He did.
because the scene around it was probably worse with brains everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like the blood pouring out of a guy's face is the least
Oh, yeah.
gruesome part of that story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, bits come out with a 357.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like,
The ceiling's probably disgusting. Above
yeah,
him.
and like he was in front of like a white background. So zoom in on the guy. before, like, that's the easiest thing to look at, I guess, out of the destruction around, to keep the story as a news person as opposed to just pointing away. Then you have no record of this happening. So,
well, if you go to the Patreon, $1 tier, you get access to our Discord, and you get to see our movie reviews that Adam and I do. This month's will be American Psycho when we get around to recording it, which should probably be soon.
Yep.
They come out at the end of every month.
Yep.
And then $3 tier, you get the unedited video version, so you could watch that and see our reactions and everything. If you want to. If not, like, disclaimer, skip it. It's in there. Disclaimer's a little late, as we're past the part where that happens in the episode, but there
if
you
you
go.
want to watch it, this is your disclaimer.
All right, outside of that, I got nothing.
At this point, it's just an apology.
I'm not even 100% sure what our next episode will be yet. It's either going to be the Donner Party or the most likely will be between the Donner Party and the Hollywood Ripper, one of those two. But we'll see how the weeks go. Outside of that, yeah, Nick, do your thing.
Yeet.
Well, that's depressing.